Yo, what is up, everybody? It is your boy out here, CJ the DJ, coming to you live with a brand new episode of Hustle and Burn. As always, man, appreciate y'all tuning in. It's Sunday. Hope everybody had a great week, and hopefully we can end it off right, you dig? Of course, appreciate y'all tuning in. First and foremost, shout out to our sponsors, guys. Diamond Consulting. For any general contractors out there in the Front Range, Colorado area that may need or utilize subcontractors in any different scope of work, whether it be new builds, remodels, renovations, contact Diamond Consulting. What they have is a private network of fully insured, pre-vetted subcontractors looking to grow and scale their companies, aka take on more work is where it begins. So very mutual and beneficial relationship between the two companies as they continue to work together and grow. Contact Diamond Consulting, guys, 720-563-7452. Got so much to get into, man. It's a new year. The year of the snake has officially begun on the Chinese Zodiac New Year, guys. What that represents and says is it's time to shed the old and step into the new. A new fresh start, and I think that's something that everybody can get behind. If you missed out on, your January 1st New Year's resolutions, another new year type just started. So do it again, man. Get back into it, whatever it may be. But happy Chinese New Year. Year of the snake, man. It's up, man. Year of the snake. We gonna get into it, of course, man. The NBA is actually where we're starting. Usually we don't do that, but we had some huge news go down. Luka Doncic to the Lakers. Luka to the Lakers, man. This is absolutely wild. The Lakers traded away Anthony Davis for Luka Doncic, and for me, the Lakers are now contenders for winning the championship. That's how good Luka is, just on his own. Luka makes the Lakers now championship contenders, without question. And I just think it's wild because AD and LeBron, like 2 weeks ago, were publicly saying, like, to the Lakers organization, like, yo, we got to make some moves for the trade deadline. We think we need another center. Like, they're doing this publicly to the media, yo. And now they trade away their center, Anthony Davis. Like, Anthony Davis is now going to join Kyrie, which I think is going to be sick. I think that's going to be absolutely sick down in Dallas. But just funny, man. I think the guy who wins in all of this, in fact, is LeBron James. LeBron James wins in this entire regard, okay? And I think JJ Redick saw when he got there that LeBron James was on his last legs. Needed people to assist him, needed an offensive scheme to assist him, right? And I think the offensive scheme isn't working. So, what do you do to try and assist LeBron James, to try and extend LeBron James' career? You go get Luka Doncic. Because all Luka Doncic does, for those that don't watch NBA and basketball, he doesn't essentially, I guess, they don't operate and run plays realistically. Luka's a very isolation basketball player, meaning he just gets the ball at the top of the key, everyone else clear out, I'm going to go head-to-head, cross this guy up, step back, take him to the hoop, whatever it may be. The kid's a killer, bro. The kid is an absolute killer, but I'm saying that isolation ball, in my opinion, actually is going to assist LeBron because Luka can take over certain games. Now, the problem with the Lakers is going to be their defense just got a whole hell of a lot worse. For my NBA fans who know, Luka don't play a shit worth of defense, bro, at all. So the Lakers' defense just got a hell of a lot worse. But I think, again, from LeBron James' vision and perspective, if we're thinking on LeBron James, you just extended, if you're the Lakers, LeBron James' career by 2 to 4 years. That's just my opinion. Because of how often Luka's just going to have isolation and just going to be taking over these games while LeBron sits in the corner. It's just going to extend his career, in my opinion, again, about 2 to 4 years. 2 to 4 seasons, I think LeBron just got extended simply by having Luka on the team, man. What a trade, bro. Blockbuster trade, man. Blockbuster trade. What will be blockbuster 2? Super Bowl, guys. It's coming up. Let's get into the Not For Long League. Of course, Chiefs versus Eagles is the Super Bowl again. Everyone is tired of Mahomes. Everyone is tired of Mahomes, guys. And I'll be honest about it. Like, I was also tired of Mahomes and getting frustrated because he's always winning and things like that. I felt the exact same. But I heard a stat this week that has begun to change my mind. okay? It was from, I believe it was it J.J. Wyatt, I think it was J.J. Watt. J.J. Watt, Wyatt, whatever, yeah, J.J. Watt. It was from J.J. Watt, man. He was on his show, and he said 16 of the last 20 Super Bowls featured Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, or Patrick Mahomes. So it's like, in that sense, when you think about it, what are we complaining about? It's always been like this. If 16 of the last 20 Super Bowls have had Brady, Manning, or Mahomes in it, at the end of the day, the same guys continuously win. The same quarterbacks continuously win, right? Like, that's just what I'm seeing from a trend like that when you see a stat like that. So that's kind of changing my mind a little bit at the end of the day. And I think Patrick Mahomes actually has it the worst in terms of that, because he's the best of the names I just mentioned. I think Patrick Mahomes is the greatest quarterback of all time. I think we're watching the greatest quarterback of all time. It's kind of wild. It's kind of wild. But, like, there's no quarterback that can do the things he does, that can play the way he plays, make all these plays, and win football games, guys. That's the thing about Lamar Jackson. Lamar is great. Josh Allen, great. You have to win the fucking Super Bowl for any of it to matter at the end of the day. For any of it to matter. And right now, Mahomes is Thanos. And I think that's why he gets the worst of, like, the, oh, we're so tired of you narrative. Because it's just like, he is the best. We're watching the best. We've never seen it happen at this fast of a pace, realistically. And I think if Mahomes three-peats, he's the GOAT. Hands down, point blank, period. If Mahomes three-peats, he is the greatest of all time. And you know, one thing I will say, too, that I think is not getting a lot of love, as much love at least as it should. If they three-peat, Andy Reid, ladies and gentlemen, is the greatest head coach of all time. No one's really talking about that. Now, everyone's talking about, oh, Pat Mahomes, GOAT. Andy Reid is the GOAT if he three-peats. He's already up there in the conversation, if you ask me personally, just as a football fan who's watched him damn near his entire career. Andy Reid is the greatest head coach of all time. He's over Bill Belichick, in my opinion, already. But if he three-peats, that is solidified. He is the greatest head coach of all time. He has won with multiple teams, okay? He reached the Super Bowl with Philly. They did lose, of course. But now he's looking at potentially three-peating with Kansas City. There's no other coach that has gone to a different organization and had that sort of success in the way that he has. It is absolutely ridiculous, bro. And I want to point out in the fact that the Chiefs actually, during Patrick Mahomes' draft class, right? Now this doesn't sound like a good argument, but we have to put our minds, when I mention this and mention this name, in the past and previously as to what it was and who this individual was. The Chiefs guys passed on drafting Deshaun Watson, who was the Clemson quarterback, star of the time, star of the class. They drafted Patrick Mahomes above Deshaun Watson, bro. That's directly from Andy Reid. I'm telling you, bro. He saw the vision. He saw the vision in this kid very, very early on. And that's why I give Mahomes credit. But Andy Reid is the greatest head coach of all time. And he's the reason Patrick Mahomes is potentially the greatest of all time as well. Andy Reid saw the vision, man. Andy Reid, I got a stat for you. Y'all know I like to pull out the stats. I got a stat for you, bro. 21 of 25 seasons as a head coach, Andy Reid's teams has ranked number 1 or number 2 in the conference. 21 out of 25 seasons as a head coach, they have ranked number 1 or number 2. That is absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. 14 of those 21 years, guys. 14 of those 21 years, they were the number 1 team. Andy Reid is the greatest of all time. There's no argument. There's no coach that has those sort of statistics with multiple organizations, bro. That shows anywhere that they go, greatness follows. I'm telling you, Donovan McNabb was a great quarterback, but a lot of it was fucking Andy Reid, right? Like, a lot of it was Andy Reid. Donovan McNabb and his mama and Campbell's Chunky Chicken should be thanking Andy Reid. Real shit. Because that man is the reason that they are so, elevated in terms of perception league-wide and in league circles for the time, because Andy Reid had them boys going. He was dealing with Terrell Owens early on in his career. Like, this guy has dealt with the most. He's seen the most, bro. He's done the most with multiple teams, man. And flip it on the flip side. You got Nick Sirianni on the other side, right? And me personally, I just can't stand Nick Sirianni. But think of the image of the head coaches and the difference in the head coaches. Andy Reid just goes about his business and just wins. Nick Sirianni's rah, 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 rah. Like, I can't stand it. Nick Sirianni is very, like, trash talk when you win, cry when you lose, pathetic sort of shit. And that's just corny as hell, especially from a head coach. But, you know, I will say on the flip side of the Kansas City Chiefs with the Eagles have turned it around 100%. I mean, if we were talking, let's say 3 to 5 weeks ago, it was all about Deshaun Watson, Jesus. It was all about Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown not getting along, Nick Sirianni talking crap to the fans, and will he be fired, and are they going to blow up this team, and now you see him in the Super Bowl. Like, right, it's kind of crazy. So I will give credit, as always, where credit is due. Nick Sirianni has turned it around, but they're facing the greatest head coach and probably the greatest quarterback of all time. And if we're looking at it, probably one of the greatest defensive coordinators of all time, right? Like, that the Eagles are going up against a lot. And I think for the way that the narrative on their side has changed, for the way Saquon has been balling, I don't think Saquon, now, do I think Saquon gets 100 yards? Okay. I think he gets 100 yards. But do I think you just see Saquon going crazy like he was last game? No, bro. The defensive coordinator for the Chiefs is one of the greatest DCs of all time. I'm telling you right now, he's not going to allow that to happen. So in my opinion, Super Bowl prediction right here, right now, I got Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes becoming the greatest of all time in their respective positions and three-peating. The Chiefs win the Super Bowl again by 6 or more is my prediction. Go do the research. Go look at the film, guys. I just think the matchup-wise, I really think the Chiefs not are going to shut down the Eagles, who just scored 55 last week, but I think they hold them to about 21 to 24 points, and they score about 30 to 35. That's what I'm thinking. I got the Chiefs three-peating, 6+ points in the Super Bowl, man. We'll see what's gonna happen, y'all. We'll see. Now, y'all know I always like to bring little cool things and kind of caveats onto the pod about certain sectors. And one thing that I stumbled upon this week that is absolutely crazy, and I'm not going to dive crazy deep, but this is one of those things, like we've said in the past, go do your research. Just look it up. Just literally look up like what I'm talking about, right? And go do your own research and learn about this stuff, man, because it's very important. But essentially, guys, there's a hidden power triangle in the world, okay? And what I mean by that is Washington, D.C., London, and the Vatican, okay? These are actually, guys, 3 independent city-states that shape global power, and they, all 3, if you look into this and go look these things up, they operate out of their country's jurisdiction. So they have their own laws, they have their own ordinances, they have their own everything within these stretches, especially in London City, which is a mile stretch of just a financial hub, essentially banks, things like that. And then the Vatican is like a 2 or 3 acre just lot where the Vatican sits. It's called the Vatican City. They have their own police force, they have their own mayor, everything, and they don't do taxes, any of that stuff. Look this up, guys. Look this up. But essentially, guys, from what I take from it, what it is DC controls the US dollar, okay? And what Washington, D.C. acts as, what the United States acts as, essentially, on DC's behalf, is the force for the reliance on the United States dollar. So anyone that tries to go against maintaining the United States dollar as the general currency for the entire world, the United States is going to have a problem with in some way, shape, or form, okay? You've seen it in past wars. If you look at the underlying things, there were certain countries, Iraq, these countries, they're trying to get off the dollar. That's not going to happen, right? They don't want to do it. So the DC essentially, guys, controls, is the force, is the muscle within this power triangle, this hidden power triangle that I'm kind of bringing up here. So again, DC controls everything. Now, London City, guys, what it is essentially it's a money laundering hub because it has little to no taxation. So what happens is these big corporations, these millionaires, these billionaires, they send their money to these hubs in London within this 1 mile stretch in London City, bro, that just operates outside jurisdiction of the entire rest of the country. Dead ass serious. Go look this up. They send their money there, essentially, guys, to be traded, to be whatever, invested into whatever, take it out of the stock market and send it there to an account there, an offshore account. That's how they're washing their money, and it's little to no tax. It's absolutely ridiculous. I'm dead ass serious, guys. Go look this up. London City. These are independent city-states, guys. Independent city-states, essentially sovereign countries, bro. Essentially sovereign countries within their own countries. And then essentially London is just there to help the money laundering, okay? And to help the scheme of low taxation and everything like that. So people from the US will a lot of times, and all around the world, of course, but they'll go there to avoid the taxation on a lot of their funds and a lot of their investments. Very interesting with those offshore accounts in London City specifically. And then the third arm of this power triangle is the Vatican. And the Vatican essentially, guys, is actually the political arm in a sense. I mean, they push a lot of agendas on a religious behalf, okay? Whether you believe that they're religious or not. But what happens is they actually collect the taxes, of course, from the church, things like that. But what I was also looking into is they collect taxes from every Catholic church in the entire world. Once every single year, the Catholic churches have to send the Vatican money, okay? That money comes in at zero taxes for the Vatican. Mind you, they have their own police force. They have their own government that operates and tells them what they can and can't do. They don't give a shit about what the rest of the country is doing, right? So they invest in real estate globally. The Vatican actually owns like a ridiculous amount of property. And it's not just they're buying churches and stuff. The Vatican be buying homes, be buying just land, everything, guys. It's insane. And so that's the power, the hidden power triangle, guys, is essentially the Vatican pushes the agenda on certain things. It goes to DC. DC is, of course, the force with the United States military, which is always what? The biggest and baddest. No one wants to mess with them. No one wants to deal with it, right? No one wants to go to war with the U.S. At the end of the day. Whether you believe that or not, that is the truth. DC is this muscle and strength. London City, London is just the financial hub where they're just going to wash the funds. Look this stuff up, guys. Again, I'm not giving you the spot on, description of what these countries do and how they operate, but I am telling you right now, those three places, Washington, D.C., London City, and Vatican City, all three are independent city-states, guys, that operate outside of their country's laws. Look it up. Absolutely wild. I had to bring that to the pod to give y'all, just so y'all can go research it and look it up for yourself, because this is mind-blowing when you actually think about it, and if you actually look up how they work together, all three of them, to ensure certain things happen. Very interesting, guys. Very, very interesting, man. We'll take that into the investment wrap of the week for y'all this week, man. The Dow Jones and NASDAQ, they kind of stayed steady, ended slightly lower this week. But, if you followed my moves that I've been saying on the pod in the past, the companies that I've been investing in and mentioning, you would actually have beaten the market this week, like we did last week when the market was down. So at the end of the day, guys, I'm telling you, if you're listening to what I'm saying, the companies that you believe in, the companies that you do the research on, just invest dollar cost average into these, because we're investing long term. Set it, forget about it, right? Y'all know how we do. Set it, forget about it. Set those purchase orders, man, at a certain price point that you feel comfortable with. Wait for it to come down to that price, guys. These stocks are going to go up. They're going to go down, just like cryptocurrencies. It's just not going to happen as fast. It can sometimes. You saw Apple, right? That drop was wild. That drop was crazy for Apple. But, guys, again, long-term investing mindset, we're thinking 5 to 10 years ahead, okay? So if we're looking at, let's say, for example, Trump's policies, he's going in AI and crypto investments. That's a must because of Donald Trump's policies. Investing into AI and crypto, it's a must. We know $500 billion, as we said last week, is going specifically into those sectors. That is very important. Trump has also said drill, baby, drill, trying to get oil, opening up the reserves. The U.S., for those that don't know, has more oil sitting underneath our feet than any other country in the entire world, okay? We just don't use a lot of it because we don't want to run out of it. right? Like a lot of these countries are drying up on their oil reserves. I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you, keep an eye on that. A lot of these countries are beginning to dry up, bro. They've been pushing this shit for fucking 50, 60, 70 years, bro. I'm telling you right now, they're starting to dry up in certain places. And so Trump has said, we're going to drill, baby, drill, okay? Now, what that does, guys, and if we start drilling, is that's going to get oil and energy stocks to boom, all right? So that's something to look into. Again, we have to think 5 to 10 years ahead, even 3 to 5 years ahead at this point. If he's saying a week in, 2 weeks in, 500 billion's going here, okay, we're there. We're gonna drill, baby, drill. Okay, we're there. That's all you have to do, guys, is put real world things that are happening and I guess piece it together with how that's going to affect the stock market and how you think that's going to affect the stock market. Then you go do technical analysis and actually look at the charts. You can't predict the market at the end of the day, but again, find those certain levels, set it, forget about it, right? And I'm telling you, fuel dependent industries as well, guys, is another kind of low key player within these. That will benefit if we drill. The reason is because if we drill, the price of gas and fuel actually is going to go down, okay, in the United States. Obviously, that's going to help airlines. That's going to help cruise ships, even realistically, right? Because they thrive with those lower fuel costs. You know, any little money, guys, these companies are looking into how to save pennies. So you're saying, like, really, like an airline is worried about the fuel prices? Fuck yeah, they're worried about the fuel prices. I was talking to my brother-in-law, okay? We won't say where he works or nothing like that, bro, but they were looking at the finances of what he does. And there was a certain thing that every single person at his job did every single day, like clockwork. They've been doing it. It's what they were told to do. They did the calculations. It was costing the company $380,000 a year. $380,000 per year for this one thing to happen that didn't need to happen. That was not a necessity for their job specifically. It was just, it made it easier and more convenient. $380K. The company said, yeah, cut that out. I'm telling you guys, a lot of these companies are cutting costs. They're looking into how to become the most profitable because they understand that if they position themselves properly, they are going to thrive within the next 4 to 8 years with this new administration after Donald Trump's term and whoever comes next after, if it is a Republican, which again, I've said it, I think it will be, whether you like it or not. So, you know, again, listen to his policies closely, guys. If we start exporting, U.S. consumers and investors at the end of the day initially are going to lose. We're going to pay a little bit extra, guys. All right. But in the long term, we're going to win. What's been the trend lately? What have we been saying? Long-term vision beats short-term gain. So stay down, bunker down, watch what's going on with these policies and everything he's talking about and what they actually sign in, right? Like a lot of times, Trump is just chat, and a lot of his chat is going to get the markets to fluctuate, but wait until when he signs these things in. When he signs these policies in, guys, it's go time. It's go time. Don't miss the opportunity. Again, go look into these things. Go research these things for yourself. But I'm just telling y'all, that's what I would be doing right now. You know, if I personally was investing, which I am. So I think y'all should follow along. That's the investment wrap of the week. This has been the pod for the week. I appreciate y'all tuning in. Hope everybody has a great Sunday and a good rest of the weekend, a good week upcoming. I got a new quick burn coming out for y'all this upcoming week on my Instagram, so make sure you peep that. Appreciate y'all, man. We out.